Well, all right. It's been a long time since I said this, but I'm Durbin. Welcome to Durbania.
Chris, take something bad and make something good out of it.
This is kind of exciting. So I'm doing a little bit of an experiment because, working for The Chosen, and right now it's in between seasons, might be an easier time for me to sit down and just have these types of conversations. When we start filming season 7, who knows? And this is me just sitting back here, kind of nostalgic, doing a little bit of Durbania talk. Because one of the things when we were on the set of The Chosen, filming season 6, Superman 2025, James Gunn's Superman hits the big screen. And yeah, I dropped on Instagram kind of my reaction and review coming out of it and stand by everything that I said, but that thing caused quite a stir on the set of The Chosen. Like a lot of the cast, especially Luke Dimian, who plays Judas, he did not agree with my opinion on the Superman movie, which is at the time I thought it's entertaining, but it's very mediocre. And so I watched it again. Especially because Luke Dimian was so passionate. He loves this movie. So Luke Dimian kept encouraging me, watch it again. Drops on HBOMax. It's free for me to watch it there. So I was like, all right, this is the time for me to go in and check this movie out again. And I did. And I watched it with an open mind, with an open heart, ready to change my opinion. And guess what? My opinion changed. It really did. It went from me thinking that film is mediocre at best to it's just not a good movie. I'm sorry, Luke. I really am, man. But I did. I tried. In fact, we talked about this Superman movie so much that the behind-the-scenes team, like the other behind-the-scenes camera people, my co-host Jelaine and all of them, they created a Superman swear jar for me. That every time this movie came up, I had to put a note in the Superman swear jar. Superman is my favorite superhero of all time. He is my favorite superhero. I have a number of video essays here explaining what makes Superman my favorite. So I didn't go into this movie wanting to be negative. I didn't go into this movie searching for a reason to dislike it. I came into this movie biased, looking for a reason to love it, and came out of it thinking it was mediocre and watching it a second time and liking it even less. Now, one of the things I love to do on this channel is a theological analysis, and that's something I want to do more of, is digging deeper and finding these connections biblically with these shows. And this way, when you watch the movie again, you're not going to watch it the same way. You'll see this interesting biblical connection. And I think I do have one for this movie. But I also just have to be honest up front. It just absolutely was not my favorite. Here's some of the reasons I don't like it. It just felt so shallow. And I think one of the things that made it shallow is the fact that this should have been the 3rd or 4th movie in a Superman franchise. The fact that this dropped in the middle of the action and things like that, and look, this is not me saying, hey, go back and do an origin story. I'm not saying that. But this story, it just felt like it had zero beginning. And it's not just the story that had its zero beginning, it's this universe. I get it. The Snyderverse has a ton of baggage to it. About the only movie in the Snyderverse I could say I love is Man of Steel. But even I watched that movie with the recognition of all of its problems. But I still love that movie. I think it's a fantastic movie. It had a beginning. The universe had a beginning. Superman was kind of like first contact story, the first time human beings saw something extraterrestrial and powerful like that. And to me, it gave the movie kind of a weight and power to it because this is the beginning of metahumans. This is the beginning of everything. There's a sense where you're being introduced to this world and you're being pulled into the world. And with James Gunn's Superman, I didn't feel that. I felt nothing pulling me into the world. The universe is just messy to me. This idea that you kind of have to sift through the universe to understand what's canon. Oh yeah, the Suicide Squad, chunks of that aren't canon, but some of it is. And so what you could do is just use your imagination. It's I don't like this concept. I don't like the concept of okay, so Peacemaker is part of this universe, and Peacemaker Season 2 is the thing that's really supposed to build up this Superman sequel, Man of Tomorrow. Okay. But Peacemaker Season 1 was all part of the DCEU, the Snyderverse. It was just kind of coming out of that. Which, by the way, I didn't watch Season 2. I'm looking at clips that I've seen on YouTube. The fact that they had to recap it by going back and redoing that ending so it's the Justice Gang and not Zack Snyder's Justice League that shows up at the end. It's okay, so you've retconned that, all right. There's whole elements of Peacemaker Season 1 that don't fit neatly into the DCU. They are part of the DCEU, but you just got to use your imagination and sift through it. The Suicide Squad is the same way. Movies are supposed to be entertainment. I'm not supposed to go in there and do that much work. So yeah, the Suicide Squad is and isn't part of this universe. Season 1 Peacemaker is, but also isn't part of this universe. The first thing that fully is part of this universe is that animated Monster Squad show, whatever that, wow, I can't remember what that's called, but I didn't really like that one either. I got like 3 episodes into it and I was just done. And then Superman being as mediocre as it was, and then to have family-friendly Superman, it's all about kindness, he swoops in to save squirrels, to the things that I heard are in Peacemaker Season 2, like a really graphic scene with lots of nudity in episode 1 of Season 2. So like right there, that kind of feeds into my Superman review because the universe is just so messy. It's so messy deciding what fits and what doesn't fit. It's so messy because Superman is family friendly and Peacemaker Season 2 is decidedly not family friendly. So like if it's so crucial, you've alienated more than half of your audience. And so it's like, okay, I don't know what to do with any of that. So that makes that all kind of difficult for me, and it feeds retroactively into my feelings of this Superman movie because it's doing for the Superman movie what the Superman movie wasn't supposed to have. It wasn't supposed to have baggage. But now it is a cog in this universe that also has a multiverse, which is the downfall of the MCU. It's a cog in this wheel where like the family can't watch this half of the content, but the family can watch this half, but the half over here you still really, really need, or you're not gonna understand some of this new stuff that's coming up. So it's like, okay, so now you've created a bunch of baggage. So I don't know, that also feeds into my opinion of this movie. The other thing I'm not a fan of with this movie is they set up this whole thing where he said, interferes in international affairs. Interesting plot, interesting story, but the way he interferes, they get to the end and he's gotta make a choice. But he doesn't make a choice. That's the point, and that's what makes me mad. The choice is the world's about to be split open by this interdimensional portal, which, my gosh, how did Lex create a pocket universe? I get it. Smartest man alive. Iron Man was the smartest man alive. But even that, like, the movie opens with him being smart. We don't see how he got smart, but we at least got to watch him build these things and use his smarts. We got to see it. We weren't just told he's smart, we watched him be smart. Lex Luthor in this, we're told he's smart. We don't get to watch him be smart. So that really bugs me and irritates me. So many weird issues with this. So somehow Lex Luthor, a mere mortal, has acted on the level of a god and created his own pocket universe, which is now splitting the earth. I feel like it was supposed to be this big choice. Does he stop the divide, or does he go save that kid that had all this faith in him, lifting up that flag? This country believed in Superman, and it just felt like emotionally everything was building to this intervention. And the thing is, Superman didn't even inspire through his kindness the Justice Gang to go do this. It's like, hey guys, can you do this? And I'm gonna do that. And they're like, yeah, sure.
Superman couldn't make it, so you got an upgrade.
If I was to find one theological analysis and one theological spot in this movie, the place where I can find that is when Superman battles his clone. And it also has to do with Jor-El. So James Gunn took a page out of Smallville's playbook with Jor-El. That Jor-El didn't have the most innocent of ideas for Clark and what Clark was going to do. So I think what he did is he took this idea out of Smallville Season 2. It's the episode where Christopher Reeve guest stars, Clark learns how to read Kryptonian, and he reads the message in his ship for the first time. And I think I could almost quote it from memory. I might have a few words off, but he reads the message, and the message reads from his father. It says, "Here on this third planet from this star, Sol, you will be a god among men. Therefore, reign through them with strength, my son. Reign over them with strength, my son, for that is where your greatness lies." Now, here's the thing about Smallville. So, like seasons 2 through maybe 6 or 7, Jor-El really is kind of a bad guy. It's like this cold AI force that supposedly has Jor-El's memory and will, trying to guide his son to his destiny. And he's cold, he's cruel about it. It seems like to reign over them with strength, it simply means, Kal-El, you have a cruel destiny. But then every time we see Jor-El in the flesh on the show, we see that this dude is a dude of love, he loves his wife, he loves his family. And by season 10, even the AI isn't so cold anymore. And you really see reign over them with strength means protect them, be their hero, be their champion. And so the show actually had time to develop that. And I kind of wonder, did James Gunn see that? Is there an arc intended in later movies that will take this Jor-El and kind of make him that? I have no idea. I can only hope so. As it lies, it seems like James Gunn didn't really pay attention to the rest of Smallville, and he just stuck to the cold Jor-El. You know, where they talked about the people of this earth, they are weak-willed, they are weak-minded, reign over them with strength, and have many wives and have many children. All of this to destroy Superman's reputation. Number one, with AI, we know that message can be faked. I don't care that Mr. Terrific dropped the line, I know the guys that interpret that, it's legit. No, it's not legit, okay? It's not legit. Especially in this weird world full of metahumans that have been around for 3 centuries and strange technology all over the place. Yeah, I'm sorry. I think even in that world, AI can do that. Okay, but let's just go with this premise for just a second for the sake of taking a look at this theological analysis. So Jor-El, his biological father, versus Jonathan Kent, his earthly father. Satan is the father of lies. He is the god of this age. Just because the father of lies is the prince of the power of the air, or the god of this age, doesn't mean we need to be his subjects. It doesn't mean we need to be obedient to his lies and to what he wants us to be obedient to. In fact, our Heavenly Father is the one who created us, and He is our real Father, and we could choose that path. And I think that's almost where we see Clark Kent in this, when he realizes Jor-El is like this father of lies. Came as an angel of light with a beautiful message, but it turns out he had a nefarious plan and purpose for him. And so now he has to deal with this lie, this shattered glass. Who will I be? Who is my real father? Who do I actually come under? And we see by the end of this movie, he chooses his earthly family. He chooses Jonathan and Martha Kent to come under their grace, their mercy, their kindness, and to act the way they do, with their type of love and kindness, which is the choice, again, like I was saying, we're all faced with. I mean, do we follow the father of lies? Do we follow the prince of the power of the air? Or do we follow the God who created us, who gave his only son to save us, and learn to live as he did? And one part where this comes to a head is where Superman battles his clone at the end. And so I always thought that was kind of an interesting little battle, because it is like that good side of him versus the bad side of him, which again you see in Smallville, Season 4, Episode 1, where at the end of Season 3, Jor-El takes Clark and brainwashes him and pushes down his human side and pulls out his Kryptonian side, Kal-El. And Kal-El is cold and calculated, and all Kal-El wants to do is, take over the world, I guess. And so through the use of black kryptonite, the two personalities are able to be split. Yeah, it's kind of weird. But the idea is that you have the battle of Clark Kent versus Kal-El, the humanity versus the cold alien, the choice to walk in love, mercy, and kindness, or to walk according to the pattern of the father of lies. So in this one, you actually get that all over again. But instead of the weirdness of black kryptonite splitting two personalities, that battle, it is a clone, represents cold, calculated Kal-El, following the father of lies. In this case, it's Lex Luthor, who has literal monkeys. Monkeys, guys. Monkeys. I'm sorry, I can't do this. I can't do this. So I had to pull these verses up because it reminds me of these things. Like Jesus says this to his disciples: if any of you wants to be my follower, you must give up your own way. Take up your cross and follow me. And then my favorite thing is to go from that to Ephesians 4:22 through 24. Throw off your old sinful nature and your former way of life, which is corrupted by lust and deception. Instead, let the Spirit renew your thoughts and attitudes. Put on your new nature, created to be like God, truly righteous and holy. So what you see in this final battle between Superman and his clone is the battle that we battle every day. The battle between the old man and the new man that God has created us to be. And what we see is the new man wins as the old man is cast off into that black hole, supposedly never to be seen again. It's a comic book movie. He will, of course, be back. Probably will be Bizarro. It's not my theory. It's a lot of other people's theories, but I think it's a solid theory. Otherwise, I don't know. I'm not a fan of the idea that this clone existed the entire movie. What, like, seriously? So we just get told Lex Luthor finds a hair somewhere in a battle and uses that to clone him? It reminds me so much of Superman 4, The Quest for Peace, where Superman gave a piece of his hair to this museum to hold up a 1,000-pound weight, and Lex Luthor goes in there and steals the hair and creates Nuclear Man. Like to me, it's just, let's replay that idea. Do you disagree with me about everything I said awesome. You are welcome to, and that is what the comment section is for. Let's have an awesome conversation about this movie. What did you think of Superman the movie? What did you think of the theological analysis? Do you see Jesus in that, in this concept of throwing off the old man, putting on the new man created in Christ? What do you think about that? Let's talk about it in the comments. I'm Durbin. Thanks for watching.